Hello and good morning, afternoon, or evening. The current time is whatever it says on your clocks, and the date, whatever it says on your calendar. I'm Sam, reporting to you previously recorded from my living room, and you are about to be creeped out. This is a segment where I talk about my favorite short horror films in the form of fake news stories. I highly suggest that you check out the full short films linked below. Let it be known that there are spoilers ahead, so please proceed with caution. The first story tonight, out with the old and in with the creepy. A thrifty lover named Reese tries to impress his girlfriend with flowers and a creepy old chair he found on the side of the road. While trying to convince his partner, Julie, that the chair isn't dirty, it's just decorative, he sits down in it to test the goods. CCTV cameras outside of where he found the chair catch a spooked Reese popping up out of seemingly nowhere, sitting in the chair exactly where he found it just hours ago. An elderly man lingers in the background, his presence unbeknownst to Reese. Cameras show Reese out of it, sort of looking around before he gets up, gets in his car, leaves his trunk open, and the chair behind. Investigative reports show that Reese had begun acting oddly after returning the chair, getting in fights, losing his job, and giving detailed death threats to his close family friends. It was reported that Reese seemed to suffer from short-term memory loss, as he couldn't recall the week after returning the chair. Julie, the girlfriend, tried to surprise her boyfriend by bringing home the chair he had argued for just the previous Wednesday, stating the idea of the chair had grown on her and she was allowed to change her mind. It was reported that Julie had reached out to her therapist about bringing Reese in, as he had begun to see things like Dead Man Franklin, who comes with the chair. Police reports show a visit was made to the home to question Reese's whereabouts, involving a missing persons report. But the two police officers later reported the other partner acting oddly. Officer A claimed his subordinate slept with Julie briefly after they interrupted her in a moment of self-pleasure during a sweep of the couple's bedroom. Officer B claimed his higher-up threatened Reese with a gun, claiming he was going to torture him slowly, followed by the officer pulling his own gun and shooting himself in the chest. A neighbor who had walked outside to investigate after hearing the gunshot claimed they heard an unknown voice of an elderly man yelling, "The Lord awaits his top chair." Investigators have yet to release any more information at this time. We take it to Sam in the field for her opinion. Sam? Thank you, Sam. Okay, so I think this film works so well because there is no comfortability at any point ever, not even when you think that you should be the most safe and comfortable, like in your own home. Even his partner is losing her damn mind. It's a little too close to home for me because this exact situation, not the possessed part, but the chair part, happened to me, where I found this really neat vintage chair in a Walmart parking lot and I 1000% loaded it into my car and took it home. We had that chair for a couple years and no old man showed up attached to the chair, thankfully, but it's definitely going to make me think twice about doing that in the future. So I really enjoy this film because it makes you think and you're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on the entire time? I still have some loose ends that weren't really tied up for me. I don't understand the Lord awaits his top chair ending.
We've all gotta die someday. What a beautiful day. The Lord awaits his top chair. The Lord awaits his top chair.
There's a scripture that comes up that's 2 Timothy 4:8. But even then, it didn't really, like I said, it didn't tie up any of the loose ends for me. I'm still not entirely sure what that means. This film is speculated to either be Reese losing his mind or for the chair to be possessed itself. I'm assuming it's the latter. Anyone that entered the home started acting really weird. Even the girlfriend, when she first comes in, one of the first things she says is, I feel like the chair makes me uneasy.
I can just keep it in the bedroom.
I can't sleep next to it. I feel weird.
My favorite scene is when we first meet Dead Man Franklin and he starts puppeting Julie.
Of course we know Dead Man Franklin. I'm so tired of living, but I love you so much.
Is Reese forgetting about me again?
He's been forgetting a lot lately.
Don't forget about me, Reese!
It was super creepy, and it's horrifying because you expect your life partner to be someone that is your safe space, and the fact that she was almost this vessel for Deadman Franklin to just manipulate as he pleased and make it even more uneasy for Reese. Horrifying. On a scale of 1 to 5 chairs, I'm giving this 5 chairs. It is well done. It's beautifully filmed. The acting is great. Just all in all, 5 solid, sturdy chairs. Back to you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Now, viewers, I'm asking you, if you were to begin receiving mysterious, more ominous notes urging you to do things, what would you do? This is the situation a young man named Sean found himself in last week, just as he was about to help host the Halloween Rager of the season at his buddy's house. The first note he found read, "I'm begging you to stop," tucked into the frame of his driver's side window. The second note he found was inside his car. This note urged him not to drive his vehicle. Rightfully spooked about leaving his friend's house, Sean wrote back to his secret pen pal, questioning their identity, and decided to stay the night. Sean later recalled a nightmare he had, where his friend had woke him up in the middle of the night to discuss who had been leaving the notes. They chatted a bit and posed mid-sentence for a photo before resuming the conversation. Sean didn't notice until later that the person who snapped the photo was himself. His friend asked him about somebody named Kyle, and then promptly beat the crap out of the person who took the photo. The next morning, Sean finds his message unanswered, so he decides to drive home. His car was seen pulling over on the side of the road about halfway through his journey, and he exits his vehicle. He seemed to be checking out his trunk as if something was making noise. His trunk flies open and begins to slam back repeatedly before closing on its own. Sean is seen breathing erratically before re-entering his car and continuing on his drive. Call logs report a phone call was made to the authorities, but no officer had been dispatched. Sean's friends say they received a panicked call from him saying he didn't feel safe in his own home, and later saying he found more notes in multiple areas of the house. It was later discovered that Sean was supposed to die that night, or at least that's what his friends said, but the note he had just found said to not trust his friends. So, now viewers, I'm asking you, if you were to begin receiving mysterious, more ominous notes urging you to do things, what would you do? This is the situation a young man named Sean found himself in last week. Wait, didn't we? We take it to Sam for her opinion. Sam? Yeah. Thank you, Sam. I definitely love a good psychological thriller. My original thought was this was maybe a film trying to visualize DID, dissociative identity disorder. I was thinking that Kyle was possibly a second personality who was trying to front, while Sean might have been the base identity and didn't even know of Kyle's existence, because the friends definitely, at first they were questioning who's Kyle, and then in the end there his friend is like, yeah, Kyle's here, whoever, and Sean was supposed to die.
Who wrote that?
Okay, fine, Kyle wrote it.
Wait.
You were supposed to die, Sean.
My other thought at the end was maybe a lost soul situation. Kyle was there the entire time, you just couldn't see him because of how the film ends with them walking up at the same time. I don't know, I just thought this was really fun. My favorite scene was definitely the dream sequence.
These notes, they might mean something. You know where they came
Sean,
from?
these notes, they might mean something.
You said that.
Who do you know? Who have you aggravated that would want to stop Pose?
Wait, why?
I'm saying I think you have an enemy, Sean.
It was kind of blending reality and this opening the veil a little bit. That was something that started to lose me, as I feel like the more we got into the film, the more entities started entering, like the friend walking across the frame, real creepy. And I was starting to wonder if, like I said, the veil was being unveiled and these were supposed to be lost souls or ghosts or something. But I definitely wasn't getting that in the first 2/3 of the film. It was all in the brain to me. Fun fact, Curry Barker, the person who directed and starred in this film, also directed The Chair, which was the previous story that we chatted about. So I think that's really fun. On a scale of 1 to 5 ominous notes, I'm giving this 4. 4 ominous notes. Because I'm not gonna lie, the ending kind of lost me a little bit. Up until that, I enjoyed the acting for it kind of being, I'm not really I guess it seems like he does more of these, but from just watching their original channel, the channel that Warnings is on, they're more comedic sketch artists. So this type of film coming from comedy sketch artists, to me, makes it that much better because it's not really in the realm of what they're working in all of the time. And for it to be this damn good, it's pretty cool. 4 ominous notes. Back to you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Now, for all those people out there with kids who watch those odd kid shows, you might want to think twice about changing the channel. A murder took place over the weekend at an ordinary suburban home. A young woman named Sonia was babysitting young Simon and decided she didn't want to watch the Timothy show that he was so into. Sonia fought Simon and forcefully turned the TV off, making Simon go to his room. Timothy didn't take too kindly to his show being turned off. He showed up in the kid's room that evening and had Simon take him downstairs for a late-night snack of carrots. While Simon fetched the carrots, Timothy smashed in Sonia's face. Simon tried to hide from Timothy after witnessing this horrendous act, but Timothy just wanted to play. Reports show a SWAT team flooded into the home in the late hours of the night, but no signs of a masked killer were found. Officers did report that the kid sat on the couch, smiling from ear to ear, staring at a blank television as they swept the home. Later evidence extracted from an ordered therapy session states Simon claimed to have been watching the Timothy show the entire time that the SWAT team was raiding his home. The murderer has yet to be found. Timothy was last seen wearing a full pink bunny costume with pink overalls, sporting the letter T on them, white blood-stained gloves, and a brain-drenched hammer. If you know anything about the whereabouts of Timothy, we urge you to call your local authorities with any possible information you might have. We take it to Sam now for her opinion. Sam? Thank you, Sam. This one is short and sweet, but still creepy enough to be well worth a watch. My original idea was that Timothy was not real, that the kid was just pissed that his show got turned off and went a little cuckoo and offed the babysitter himself, and then maybe came to and realized what he'd done and went and hid from his heinous act. My other thought was that this was a sort of like a 1995 situation. If you've heard of that story, it's also very creepy. Not exactly the idea that it's a kid's show with a demonic undertone that sort of hypnotizes the kid. It forces the kid to want to watch the TV, and when their attention is cut from the television or the show is turned off, that is what pulls this demonic entity into reality. It's gotta be more of the latter. Like I said, I was originally thinking that maybe the kid kind of went crazy and did this all himself, but when he was hiding, he would have been covered in blood because Timothy was actually covered in blood. So it is weird how, because in the end, Timothy is supposed to be sitting next to the kid while he's watching the TV, even though the show isn't really playing on the television. So the TV looked like the kid is just starting to see the show. Timothy is there, but SWAT can't see him. And he's still covered in blood. So it is very weird and maybe like a continuity error somehow that this entity can physically do harm, but also not be there, really. Doesn't fully make sense, but it is really cool. I did like how they kept Timothy's voice child-esque. Somehow that made him a lot creepier.
Pero no te vayas, si soy yo, Timothy, y este es el show de Timothy.
And I like his design. It's also on trend at the moment because I feel like Five Nights at Freddy's is very, very in. That being said, I understand short films usually do well in a short form. That is why they are so successful, because they can tell this little bit of a story, or just, you know, you can start in the center of something and you can end before it's actually answered. And it leaves all these questions, and that's just the beauty of a short film. But this one in particular, I feel like it really could have been brought a little farther. I'm not sure how, but it did seem slightly rushed. I think they could have done a little bit more to make it scarier. That being said, and for that reason, from 1 to 5 bunnies, I'm giving this 3 bunnies. 3 Timothy Chalamet, because I think it could have gone a little farther. I'm giving it a 3 because Timothy's design and the detail to paying attention to his voice and things of that nature were well done. Back to you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Well, folks, that's all we have for you tonight. Remember to stay safe out there, and we hope that you were sufficiently creeped out. My name is Sam, and thank you for watching. Have a good night.